when your hourglass runs out of sand. You can't flip it over and start again. Take every breath God gives you for what it's worth. Don't blink, just like that. You're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25. Then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, you better have 50 years is there and there, and you're praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think, so don't blink. So I've been trying to slow it down, I've been trying to take it easy, in this here today, gone tomorrow world we're living in. Don't blink, just like that. You're 6 years old and you take a nap and you wake up and you're 25. Then your high school sweetheart becomes your wife. Don't blink, you just might miss your babies growing like mine did, turning into moms and dads. Next thing you know, you better have 50 years is there and there, and you're praying God takes you instead. Trust me, friend, 100 years goes faster than you think, so don't blink. No, don't blink. Don't blink. Life goes faster than you think, so don't blink. Life goes faster than you think, don't blink. Don't blink.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Jerry's children, Leanne, Teresa, and Mark, I'd like to welcome you all, to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. I am Rodney Say. I'm a friend of Jerry's. I met him approximately 40 years ago. We gather here to remember Jerry and to celebrate his life, and we gather today to support one another and Jerry's family. I met Jerry actually through business to start, and then we became friends. Through life, we had a little bit of traveling, did a little fishing, did a little drinking, had a little fun. Got to know Jerry and Mark very well, not as much as his sisters, but 40 years is a little bit of time. So thanks anyways. I'd like to introduce Bailey Dietrich, hope I got that right, Jerry's niece, the daughter of Jerry's youngest sister.
Hello, I'm Bailey. I am Jerry's niece and the daughter of Jerry's youngest sister, Joyce. My mom couldn't be here today because she's sick at home with pneumonia, so she asked me to say her speech for her. So this is what she has here. It says, Jerry, I miss you already, big brother. I have been doing a lot of thinking and I took some of Jerry's advice. Don't be scared to be a little bit of a rebel. So today here I am. And if you know me, you might be wondering, what the heck would I be doing that'd be considered rebellious? Well, I'm here to tell you I wrote a poem, but, and here it is, my poem doesn't even rhyme. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I'll keep working on the rebellious thing. When I thought about Jerry and tried to squish his life into a single poem, it just didn't work for me. But Jerry loved to dance, and he loved country music. No, Jerry, don't worry, I'm not going to try and sing again here today. Thank God, I would not be singing for my mom. That is a bit of an inside joke, because in the last Days in the hospital, I spent a lot of time playing country music in Jerry's room, and inevitably, I would be singing along to the music straight into Jerry's ear. Sorry about that. Jerry's love for dance and music came honestly. The whole family loves to dance, from square dancing in the basement as kids with the neighbors, to moving kitchen tables out of the way to practice new moves, to taking turns dancing with Jerry around Rita's kitchen island. Us three sisters often shared Jerry for a dance partner at a wedding, and, well, just about anywhere there was music that we could dance to. Jerry stood in for my dad and danced the father-daughter dance with me on my wedding night. Jerry danced with enthusiasm and a whole lot of spunk. I remember hearing my wedding dress rip under my arm as we danced, and if I remember correctly, I think I lost a shoe that night too as he swirled and spun me around the dance floor. It didn't matter, we had fun and we tore up that place. Jerry lived how he danced. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, sometimes it's one step forward and two steps back. And just how the country music can produce some of the saddest, heartfelt lyrics and the most upbeat, toe-tapping, cowboy boot stomping, dirt-kicking, knee-slapping tunes, so did Jerry's life. So now, from where we are today, how can I honor my brother best? Well, I want to reshuffle the dance list, let go of all the painful moments as of late, just like the songs that just don't make the cut anymore. Let's thrive and jive on all the laughs. Thrive and jive on all the laughs, tender moments, and all the fun throughout the years. Let's kick up our heels, dance, and let's cowboy on. I encourage you to choose something that you learned from Jerry or admired about him and incorporate it into your own life. Let Jerry's best qualities live on through you. What a beautiful tribute that would be, and what a wonderful way to keep Jerry's memory alive. Remember to always cherish the music in your own life and dance whenever you get a chance. Jerry, when my journey is done down here, come get me, because when I'm ready to go to heaven, I want to dance with you again. That was really well written by my mom. Thank you.
And now for the eulogy would be Leanne Binetruy, Jerry's oldest daughter.
Bailey, you're a composed speaker. I hope I can get through as well. Jerry was born on July 22nd, 1947 in Weyburn, Saskatchewan. He was the second of 5 children to Marguerite and Henry Binetruy. Jerry was raised on a farm at Radville, Saskatchewan, and that is where he completed his primary education. Yesterday, Teresa, Mark, and I found what appears to be a high school ring with the letters RRHS on the front, Radville Regional High School. As my dad entered the workforce, he did so as an electrician, working his way through his apprenticeship, then becoming a journeyman, and finally a master's electrician. I have memory of living in Fort McMurray and Sundre, Alberta, while my dad worked as an electrician, and we must have moved to Calgary while he still worked in that field. But as an electrician, he worked away from home a lot and would be gone for days in a row. My dad was dutiful and loyal to his family, so he made a dramatic career change and became a licensed real estate agent in Calgary. That way he could be home with us each night. You all know my dad, and you know he certainly could be charismatic. He was a successful real estate agent, and his young family started to be able to enjoy some things like family vacations to Disneyland, California. We owned a small boat, and he taught me how to water ski on Chestermere Lake, which is just outside of Calgary. And I have very clear memories of the fun to be had on the winter ski slopes in the mountains west of Calgary. Downhill snow skiing is a sport that all of us kids have enjoyed over the years. But he wasn't done with career changes just yet. The booming oil industry was calling his name, and in 1979 we moved to Lloydminster, where my dad purchased a service rig. Honestly, sometimes I wonder what possessed him. He didn't know a thing about the service rigs, as far as I know. He had 3 small children. Mark was literally a few months old. He had a personal loan from a friend in the real estate industry to get that company started, and he had a brand new company by which he was to support his family with. In the end, it turned out to be a good decision, and the oil industry became a part of his fabric, and Lloydminster remained his home. My dad passed away a week ago this past Sunday, on October 3rd, at the age of 74 years. He was recently diagnosed with esophageal cancer. His illness was swift, and if there is a silver lining in the clouds, it is that he was not sick long. It was only about 2 months ago that my dad and Mark worked together to install a new fish finder on his boat. His passing was quiet and peaceful, and I am sure that many of you know quiet and peaceful was not exactly my dad's signature move. Over the last few days, I have been talking to some of my dad's friends and to my siblings, and it comes up over and over again. Your dad could fix anything. He was so mechanically inclined. His friend Cal told me a story about when him and my dad were young men out hunting in my dad's 55 Chevy. In that truck, the starter was on the floor, but it quit working while they were out. Cal figured that was just it. There was nothing to do but try to walk all the way home. But he said my dad knew exactly what to do. He jacked up the back of the truck so that the wheels were off the ground. He put Cal in the driver's seat to turn on the key and hold the starter down. And then he gave that back tire a spin, and the truck started straight up, and they were back in business. When Teresa and I became driving age, we got our vehicles off the fleet of the rig trucks. They were not so fancy. My dad carefully took the time to show us how to change the oil, how to grease our vehicles, and how to change their tires. He never treated us so much like princesses. He believed that we were capable and strong, and he taught us to be independent and responsible. I can't help but think there must have been some swearing involved when he taught us to change our oil and watched us wrestle truck tires. Teresa recounted to me last night, as he instilled in us the responsibility to take care of our vehicles. If ever there was an unusual noise, a rattle, or a shimmy, we had to let him know right away. This would lead to him taking your truck out for a drive to hear the noise himself. But I tell you, no matter what, not once did your truck ever, I mean never, show its noise or rattle or shimmy when Dad was driving it. It was like even the truck knew better. I feel like I could talk to you about my dad and his vehicles for a long time, but I will leave you with one last story. Some of you may remember his Cadillac, or maybe I should say his first Cadillac. He was really, really proud of it, and it was a special occasion car for sure. It lived in our garage, and we barely ever used it. It was pink, a pink Cadillac. Pink, the color of Mary Kay, because that's where it had come from. Oh, my dad definitely took some ribbing about his pink Cadillac. Finally, the day came that he could take it and have it painted a really lovely shimmering gray color. It looked fantastic when it came home, and it returned to its safe spot in the garage. I don't know how this came to be exactly, but hanging in the rafters of the garage over top of his Cadillac were a set of heavy, heavy chains. Right? You know where this is going. Those chains fell one night and landed on the hood of his freshly painted Cadillac. Ay, 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 ay. Can you imagine how he reacted to that? There was swearing. There was a lot of swearing. My dad loved to hunt and fish. Apparently something he learned from his dad, my grandpa Binetruy. Yesterday, I asked Mark to share the story of the picture of my dad holding the Chinook salmon that you see on the back of your memorial card. Mark booked a trip for himself, his wife Lori, and my dad to go fishing in Mission, BC. The Fraser River was to be full of sockeye salmon and sturgeon. Now apparently, not that I would know, but a good sockeye salmon is about 8 pounds. And so on the first day when my dad had something on his line that was really, really big, the guide assured them it wasn't a fish. It was too early in the season for a Chinook salmon, and the sockeye just weren't that big. They didn't have the right hooks to catch a sturgeon, so the guide thought maybe he'd actually hooked a seal by accident. Well, my dad wrestled his catch for quite some time to find out that he had, indeed, caught a good-sized Chinook salmon. And I think the picture says it all. He looks pretty darn pleased with himself. I do wish to take a moment just to add that Mark's wife, Lori, outfished them all on that vacation, catching by far the largest sturgeon of the group. The large fish got away when the guide made a handling mistake, so there is no photographic evidence. But I'm going to guess that my dad was swearing when that happened also. We've just heard, but my dad liked country music, he liked to dance, and he had recently returned to square dancing. He square danced as a youngster, and I have learned that his dad started the square dancing club around Bradville, and that Grandpa Binetruy was the caller, and practices took place in the basement of the old farmhouse. My dad also used to enjoy trap shooting, and yesterday, Teresa, Mark, and I came across a box full of his trophies from that sport. As I have been preparing for this day over the last week, I have been wondering, how do I pay tribute to his life, and how will I honor his memory into the future? In the slideshow that is coming up next, you are going to see a few pictures I added of Teresa and I with our horses. It is no secret that we are horse girls. When we were young and just starting out in the sport, of course, this required endless support from our parents. And my dad was there helping us along. Financially, having children that were aspiring riders was a big commitment, but my dad never wavered. My sister and I can both recall numerous times that he was quick to defend his choices, saying, "This is the cost of keeping my girls busy, committed, and out of trouble." As Teresa and I move forward and continue to enjoy what horses bring to our lives, we pay tribute to my dad and what he gave to us. I have included pictures in the slideshow of my two daughters enjoying their horses as I pass his legacy down to yet another generation. I have also included a picture in the slideshow of me and my girls on the ski slope. Another way that I will honor his memory is to enjoy with my family the sports that he shared with his young family. Also in the slideshow, you will see photos of my dad hunting with Mark's daughters. My dad used to hunt with his dad, and now my dad has passed on a love of hunting to his son, Mark. And together, my dad and Mark have shared their love of hunting with Mark's children. My father's legacy will live on as Mark and his girls continue to enjoy great adventures hunting together in the future. I have included pictures of his granddaughters. They are literally his future. And I ask you all to be the ambassadors of his legacy. I will leave you with one final story. In the days that followed his passing, his sister Joyce wrote, "There are many things you have taught me. Things like the F-bomb," that's not what she wrote. "Things like the F-bomb can be used as a noun, a verb, an adjective, and a pronoun. You have actually showed me just how versatile that word can be and how it fits into any conversation. I have learned to stand up and fight for what I believe in by watching you do the same. And I have learned cowboy hats and cowboy boots are everything from casual wear to high-end formal attire," as if there was a question. I hope that you will all enjoy the slideshow. Thank you.
Every man has his place in time. Everyone has a loved one that they leave behind. But even though I'm not right there with you, so much of this life left to live, and I'll be smiling at the thought of you, just like I always did. I always hear the prayers in your head late at night. I'm walking right beside you, and nobody's by your side. I don't want you to cry over my memory, so go on without me, without me, without I always hear the prayers in your head late at night. I'm walking right beside you when nobody's by your side. I don't want you to cry over my memory, so go on without me, without me. Every breath of life is short and sweet. So glad that I'm up here, that I got to see you go on without me.
Last night I had a crazy dream. Wish was granted just for me. It could be for anything. I didn't ask for money or a mansion in Malibu. I simply wished for one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day. First thing I do is pray for time to crawl. I'd unplug the telephone, keep the TV off. I'd hold you every second, say a million I love yous. That's what I do with one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me
get where I'm going, on the far side of the sky, the first thing that I'm gonna do is spread my wings and fly. I'm gonna land beside a lion and run my fingers through his mane, or I might find out what it's like to ride a drop of rain. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. I'm gonna walk with my granddaddy, and he'll match me step for step, and I'll tell him how I've missed him every minute since he left. And then I'll hug his neck. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. With so much pain and so much darkness in this world we stumble through, all these questions I can't answer, and so much work to do. But when I get where I'm going, and I see my Maker's face, I'll stand forever in the light of His amazing grace. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm
Again, on behalf of the family, I'd like to extend a health-heart thank you to each and everyone that took the time to join us today to see Jerry off. The family invites you to join us at the Greenwood Community Hall for snacks, visiting, and a BYOB event. If you don't know where that is, that's at address is 5501 Range Road 3280. It's actually northeast of Lloyd. But if you have any trouble at all, just Google it on your maps as Greenwood Community Center in the Britannia is the municipality, and it should lead you right there. It's very close. It's not very far. So if you guys can join us out there, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you again.
gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see